Home with God, Chapter 10. You are all at cause in the matter of everything that is going on in your life, including your death. That's wonderful. That's just wonderfully put. Thank you. And now I'd like to return to something, if I may, something a bit disturbing. Please. When you told me very early in this conversation that we are all the cause of our own deaths, the first thing that came up for me was that if this statement is true, then every death is, by definition, a suicide. I've been thinking about that ever since. That is not accurate. The fact that everyone is at cause in the ending of their life does not mean they are deliberately choosing at a conscious level to do so, nor does it imply that they are doing so in order to escape some condition or circumstance. Causing something and consciously choosing it can be two entirely different things. What? I don't understand. You can be the cause of an accident, but that does not mean that you consciously chose it. Ah, I see what you mean. So let's be clear about what is being communicated here. You are all at cause in the matter of everything that is going on in your life, including your death. Most people are not consciously aware of this. But if a person is consciously aware of this, and by the way, this dialogue is making people consciously aware of it, then wouldn't that mean that when a person dies, that person is committing suicide? I mean, all people are, by these lights, at cause in the matter of the ending of their lives, no? Have I missed something? Two conditions must exist in order to classify a death as a suicide. 1. You must be aware of what you are doing. That is, you must be making a conscious choice to die. 2. You must be making the choice to die for the purpose of escaping rather than completing your life. One purpose of this conversation is to help you get in touch with the sacredness of your physical life, to assist you in coming to understand that life in the body is a gift of unspeakable proportions. I said earlier that death is a powerful moment of creation, and it is, but it is designed for going to something, not for escaping from something. There's so much pain attached to suicide that I almost didn't want to bring this subject up. That pain is felt first, of course, by the person going through the turmoil that led to the decision to end his life or her own life, and then by the family and friends of that person. Can there be any place of comfort in all of this for anyone? Comfort may come from knowing that the person who has committed suicide is all right. They are okay. They are loved, and they are never forsaken by God. They will simply not have achieved what they set out to do. That is important for anyone who is contemplating suicide to understand. Are you saying that those who commit suicide are not punished in any way. There is no such thing as punishment in what you call the afterlife. It is those who are left behind who are punished. They experience an incredible shock from which some never fully recover. All of them feel an enormous loss. Many spend the rest of their lives blaming themselves. They wonder what they did wrong. They agonize over what they could have said that might have changed things. The sad thing is that those who end their own life imagine that they are going to change things, and they are not. Ending your life in order to escape something does not create a situation in which you escape anything. If you are thinking of ending your life in order to avoid something, you should know, I say again, that you are contemplating something that you cannot do. A wish to avoid that which is painful is normal. It is all part of the human dance. However, in this particular moment of that dance, a person is trying to push herself or himself away from something that the soul has come to the body to experience, not to escape. Because that person has found the experience to be painful and difficult, he or she seeks to step into a void where there is nothing to face and nothing to fear. But people cannot step into a void because there is no void to step into. A void does not exist. There is no void anywhere in the universe. Not anywhere at all. There is no place where nothing is. Everywhere you go, the space is filled with something. What is it? What is the space filled with? Your own creations. You will face your creations wherever you go, and you cannot escape them, nor do you wish to, because you have created your creations in order to recreate yourself. It will not benefit you, therefore, to attempt to sidestep them or to dance around them. Dancing your way to the void cannot be done. Let me put this another way. A void dance is not possible. That is very clever. That is a very clever play on words. I use words in this way frequently, so that you can easily and always remember the message they seek to convey. Well, I will always remember that one. A void dance is not possible. No, because what you die with, you will continue to live with. That is a very powerful statement. It was meant to be. Forgive me for going back to this. Forgive me for saying this now, right here, as we are talking about ending one's own life. But earlier you said that death was wonderful. Why wouldn't someone whose life is terrible desire death if it is so wonderful? What you call death is wonderful, but it is no more wonderful than life. In fact, death is life, simply continuing in a different way. I want you to be very clear here. You will encounter yourself on the other side of death, and all the stuff you carried with you will still be there. And then you will do the most ironic thing. You will give yourself another physical life in which to deal with what you did not deal with in your most recent one. I will return to physical life. I can't work things out in the non-physical spiritual realm. No, for it is the purpose of physical life to provide you with a context within which you may experience what you choose. In the spiritual realm, to experience. And so, by leaving physical life, you will escape nothing, but will just place yourself right back into physical life and into the situation you were seeking to escape, except now you will be back at the beginning again. You will not see this as a punishment or a requirement or a burden, because you will do this all of your own free will, understanding it to be the part of the process of self-creation for which you exist. So we might as well deal with whatever we are dealing with right now. Indeed, that is what life is for. When life is used in that way, you will die when you are ready to use death as a tool with which to create a new and different life. Suicide is the use of death to escape, but it creates the same life all over again, with the same challenges and experiences. I've never heard it put quite that way. That says a lot. Yes. So you may use death as a tool with which to escape or with which to create. The first is impossible. The second is incredible. But isn't there a bit of judgment in that? Doesn't that seem to make suicide wrong? I mean, I thought that God had no judgment. There's nothing wrong or bad about creating the same life challenges and experiences over again. If you wish to face the same challenges over and over, go ahead and do it. In this, as in all things, you may do as you wish. It is simply important to know, if you think that you are going to escape these challenges, that you are not. You are going to find yourself looking straight at them again. And of course, that can get a bit repetitious. What makes people feel that they just don't want to face their present challenges anymore is the idea that they have to face them alone. This is a false thought, but it is held by many. Loneliness is the biggest affliction in the world today. Emotional, physical, and spiritual loneliness. The feeling of being isolated and injured, or burdened in a way that no one understands, and of being without resources is a formula for hopelessness. It is in the face of endless hopelessness that at last nothing seems to matter except escape. Yet you cannot and will not escape, but merely repeat from the beginning what you are seeking to avoid. That is why I come here now to tell you that you are not without resources, none of you, and I ask you to announce this to all the world. You have but to call on me with absolute knowing that I will be there. You have but to reach out with absolute faith to see me reach back. May I ask you what may seem like a strident question? Certainly. Why do we have to reach out to you before you reach out to us? If you really are an all-knowing God, then you must know when we need help. If you really are an all-merciful God, then you must be willing to offer that help without our asking. If we are already on our knees, bent over in utter defeat, why must we grovel even more and plead with you to rescue us? If you are an all-loving God, why don't you love us enough to help us without us having to beg you? And while we're at it, what do you say to those who would tell you, I have called out to you, and you have not been there? Do you think I have not asked for God's help? For God's sake, why do you think I'm so desperate? I'm so desperate because it seems like even God has let me down. I'm utterly deserted here, and I want none of it any more. I'm done, finished, through. What do you say to that person, huh? I say, I want you to consider now the possibility of a miracle. This is a reason why you have not experienced receiving a solution from me. But that reason is not important in this moment. What is important is this moment is for you to consider the possibility that now, right now in front of you, there is an answer. Open your eyes and you will see it. Open your mind and you will know it. Open your heart and you will feel that it is there. I say, only if you call out to me in absolute knowing will you be aware that your answer has been given you. Because it is what you know, what you feel, and what you declare that will be true in your experience. If you call out to me in hopelessness, I will be there. But your despair may blind you and block you from seeing me. I say, nothing you have done is so horrible, nothing you have had happen to you is so beyond repair that it cannot be healed. I can and shall make you whole again. Yet you must stop judging yourself. The one making the strongest judgment is you. Others may judge you from the outside looking in, but they do not know you. They do not see you, and so their judgments are not valid. Do not make them valid by taking them on as your own. They have no meaning. Do not wait for others to see you as you really are, for they see you through the eyes of their own pain. Know, instead, that I see you now in wonder and in truth, and that what I see of you is perfect. As I look upon you, I have but one thought. This is my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. I say, forgiveness is not necessary in the kingdom of God. God cannot be offended or damaged in any way. There is only one question of importance in the entire universe, and it has nothing to do with your guilt or innocence. It has to do with your identity. Do you know who you really are? When you do, all thoughts of loneliness disappear. All ideas of unworthiness evaporate. All contemplations of hopelessness transmute into wondrous awareness of the miracle that is your life, and of the miracle that is you. And finally, my beloved, I say, you are surrounded in this very moment by 100,000 angels. Accept now their ministrations, and then pass their gifts on to others. For it is in giving that you shall receive, and it is in healing that you shall be healed. The miracle for which you have been waiting has been waiting for you. You will know this when you become the miracle that another waits. Go then, and perform your miracles, and allow your death to be the moment of your greatest glory, not an announcement of your greatest sorrow. Use death as a tool with which to create, not with which to destroy, with which to move forward, not with which to go back. In this choice will you have honored life itself, and allowed life to bring you your own grandest dream, even while you are living with your physical body, peace within your soul at last. Thank you. Thank you for those words. I hope and pray they may be heard by every hurting person. I need to ask you one more question about all this. What about when a person asks another, a doctor or a loved one, to assist them in bringing their life to an end? You are speaking of euthanasia, which is quite a different thing. This is when a person realizes that her or his life is already over in every practical way, and that there is nothing left to experience except unremitting physical pain or total loss of dignity in the death process. Euthanasia cannot be equated with suicide. People who are contemplating suicide in the middle of an otherwise active and reasonably healthy life are making a very particular kind of decision. People who end a life that is a very short time away from ending anyway, with every medical evidence indicating that are making an entirely different kind of decision. Those who see clearly by every medical evidence that their physical life is all but over may choose to ask, is it necessary to suffer this final pain and indignity? Each soul will have an answer that is right for it, and no soul will answer the question incorrectly, because there is no such thing as an incorrect answer. I see the difference clearly, and I think every reasonable person does.